Hey guys, what's up? So my name is Aryan and I'm a senior here at Babson, and I've been part of crew and AIA now for almost 3.5 years since I joined Babson, and it's been such an amazing journey, and this is my testimony. So to give you guys a little bit of like background about how I came to my faith, so I'm a very new believer. I gave my life to Jesus just January 26, 2025, so it's been just 3 months, and God is doing amazing things in my life too. I grew up in India, in Mumbai, so I'm an international student here, and I come from a completely another religion, Hinduism, and I was always searching for more, I guess, like before, like I always, obviously, like I went to the temples and I prayed, but it was kind of religion. I never had relationship with God. I always knew like there's a God out there and He loves me, and I would pray, but I would feel like my prayers were empty, and now I think that void is kind of filled in my life, so it was definitely a journey. It took 3.5 years, and God just surrounded me with so many like-minded, godly people. To give you context, I had 7 different roommates at Babson during my time, and 4 of them were like hardcore Christians. And God was like sowing all these seeds through the clubs I was involved with, the people I was meeting, and He was just like kind of, even when I couldn't see it, He was working in ways which I can like look back in hindsight and tell you now. So I had people early on, like this guy Levi Lowney, who I met through rugby. The first day, he just like so passionate about Jesus. I could just tell there's something different about that guy. Then one of my best friends now and my roommates, Daniel Platt, he came in January with me, and we used to talk about God. And I was very open-minded and spiritual and questioning. So I would go to these Tuesday night AIAs, and they had Chick-fil-A, so it used to be fun to like meet these like-minded Christians, and I could just tell there was something different about this community. They cared about each other, and this like love was just like I could resonate with that kind of, because I think God was calling me. He had given me the heart and the desire, but since I was not walking with Him, I didn't know how it looked like, and so there was always this like emptiness or this void in my life, like with thoughts of loneliness, depression, or just being worried in general. I felt like there has to be something more. And last year I went through kind of a bad breakup through which I was just, lonely and depressed, and I didn't know what my identity was. And so it was definitely a long journey, and going to crew and AIA helped me like learn more about the Lord and Jesus. But September of 2024 was a turning point where I met my now church leader and my brother and my best friend and my mentor, Wayne. He's a professional Major League Rugby player, and he was a coach for Babson Rugby, which is what I'm part of. And so even rugby, like playing rugby, was such a random thing in college, which I did because I just picked the most like violent sport and the cool group of guys. But through rugby, God introduced me to these amazing people. And I got coffee with Wayne one day and just started talking about Jesus. And a big part of our conversation, which I was having with Wayne, was about like sin, because I used to struggle with like worldly desires. And this one thing really resonated with me, which was like, I was trying to beat sin in my human flesh, and I think what Wayne told me, God is not telling you to beat sin. That's not the goal. It was to get closer to God, get closer to Jesus. And once I started doing that, I think now that I look at my life, like after September, I have drastically let go of so many things. I used to struggle with lust. I used to struggle with these worldly desires, and now they're almost like God is changing my heart. And so I started going to Wayne's church. Our church is called Unite 180. I started going to the Sunday services and praying. And I think for the first time in my life, God was always knocking on my door, and He was always there, but I just wasn't willing to accept His hand, And once I made that conscious decision that God, I surrender to You and I give You my life, I think that just changed things around. And I started like prayer became such a big part of my life, like waking up, going to bed, started reading the Word. This series called The Chosen, which really helped me understand the Bible. And just like surrounding myself with Christian people, I just realized like this is the kind of void which I was missing in my life. And since I've given my life to Jesus, it has been amazing. Like the kind of people that I'm surrounding with, and my faith is just getting stronger and stronger every day. And it's definitely not been easy, because there's a lot of things I had to let go and even battling with right now, but it just feels right. I feel like following God is the best decision that I've made, and He loves me so much. And I think He says in the Bible, like, trust in me, like I have plans for you to prosper, to give you life abundantly. And I just can see it fruition in my life through the kind of deeds that I'm doing. Have stories of forgiveness, stories that I could not humanly see myself doing. So yeah, this is kind of like a short version of my testimony, and there's so many moving components to it. But praise the Lord, and Jesus is my rock right now, and I'm standing on it, and I just feel so joyful in my life right now, and everything just great. So thank you so much for hearing me out.